Triangular Rainbow. Triangular Rainbow is a science fiction in the vein of Raiders of the Lost Ark, Avatar, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or Arrival. It takes a group of research scientists and the individual quest of the protagonist in league with a group of aliens and the discovery of this elixir plant at the center of the Bermuda Triangle, set in the near future, where paranormal activity has begun to be studied and recognized, where they venture there to extract a plant of earth-changing capacities. But as they do so, they undergo karmic transformations or purges in order to ready them to bring it back. At the opening, we find the protagonist, Michael, at the top of a tree, talking to a bird. But this bird has recently been inside his head, giving him the information of the existence of this plant, its properties, and how to build the instrumentation to get it. And so he ventures back down into his room, elated, because for weeks he's been off in the corner, taking down the information, not knowing where he was coming from, and he thought he was going crazy, and everybody in his office thought he was going crazy too. So he's coming down into his room, elated. As he gets to his apartment, he gets a knock on the door. It's his next door neighbor, Zelda, who's recently told him that she doesn't like him and she's crazy. Now wants to make love to him. And he immediately recognizes, this is the bird that was talking to me. It's a shape-shifting alien. And so they assume this relationship of a lover, mentor. All this happens before he goes to work that morning. When he does get to work that morning, his boss, Ed, says to him, Michael, what have you been doing for weeks? You've been off in the corner. We thought you were losing your mind. What's going on? Luckily, I can read your handwriting. It looks like you've made one of the most amazing discoveries of all time. We're going to go into the Bermuda Triangle. We're going to take this plant and we're going to harvest it and bring it back. We've already got this guy named Charlie who has a boat that can go there under any conditions. He's this ex-naval officer, some kind of a shaman type of guy. Crazy, but he can do it. He always comes back in one piece. We're going to take that boat and we're going to go and get it. Are you coming? Michael says, well, do I have a choice? And so they're off to the races. As soon as they get to the high seas, the boat is inundated with this green light that surrounds them and transforms every member in the crew to another civilization that has passed through the same area before in search of the same plant in epochs gone past. First, the Vikings. They go through this psychodrama that leads to a cataclysm, and then they come back to their real selves. And they have dinner, and there's all casual and having lunch and having fun. But insidiously, this sort of psychology of these groups seeps into them, and they start behaving, having love triangles and whatnot. And everything changes. They turn the Egyptians and then the Minoans, and they have this kind of circle going around, and nobody knows what's happening. The only one that knows what's happening is Michael. And he says to Zelda, what is going on? And she says, relax. We're undergoing a karmic purging. The mothership is off in the distance, and we are sending humans so that you'll be ready to retrieve the plant and bring it back. Michael says, yeah, but what do you want me to do? You're going to be the bridge that helps everybody to cross. And so, as we enter the third act, we have Michael has assumed the leadership position. They're the Minoans, and he's above the ship. The ship is down below, and everybody's duking it out as these heroes from Greek mythologies, mythological creatures. And then they transform to the bottom of a extinct volcano, where they're their real selves, halfway between, as if like in this technology of the aliens, it's similar to like in Star Trek, where they're able to shift matter. They're their real selves, but at the bottom of an extinct volcano. Michael says, relax. We're about to transform into the next entities and they relax and they transform into the Carthaginians. And Michael is the Emperor Hannibal. And as they head up the side of this extinct volcano, on the backs of elephants with eagles flying overhead, he says to them, relax. Do you see how the animals relax under time of extreme duress? We must do the same. And so they reach the top. They reach the top of the volcano, where again, under the tutelage of the technology of the aliens, they transform into their transcendent selves. That is the self that you and I become before we die, where we see our whole life out before us. And just then, they're transmuted to the place of the plant, where they surround it in a triangle, as if the motivations that impel them forward were divided into three distinct groups. Charlie, Ed, and Desmond, circled by this cordon of power that they sought, as in Superman and Zod, entrapped by it. Michael and Zelda to go in a diagonal to the planet of the aliens, to the unknown, and Zelda, Beauregard, Angelica, and Racine to bring the plant back to civilization. And so we have this sort of matrix of inward drives that's brought them there, in this rainbow of motivations that has worked together to create this sort of construct to bring back the plant. And so, working in league with the intention of the aliens as an arrival, they've determined their own future. Triangular rainbow.